मैं समझता हूँ कि बहुत अफसोसनाक बात है कि बेगुनाहों को मारा जा रहा है। मैं समझते ये एक साजिश के तहत किया जा रहा है।
मसले कश्मीर को हल करने के लिए यहाँ के लोगों के साथ भी और पाकिस्तान के साथ भी बातचीत करना जरूरी है।
Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Shivani Gupta. Two more non-local laborers from Bihar were murdered and one has been left critically injured after terrorists mercilessly fired upon them in Kulgam earlier today. This comes just a day after two other non-locals were murdered yesterday, one in Srinagar and the other in Pulwama. There have been 7 such killings in the last 1 week alone. Terror groups are upping the ante as far as the killings are concerned and are also giving an open threat that more such innocent civilians will be targeted. Now, 4 migrants have been targeted in these cowardly attacks just in the last 2 days. That, of course, includes today. Over the past 2 weeks, at least 11 civilians have been shot dead, which includes 5 locals and 6 migrant workers. From Kashmiri Pandits to laborers from UP and Bihar, no one has been spared by the brutals based out of Pakistan. CNN News 18 has accessed the chilling details on how the 2 migrant laborers were killed today. Non-locals were housed in their house when some people came to them and asked them to accompany them to a nearby field as they were wanting to work on their fields. They were told to come and see the field so that they can negotiate the payment. When they were moving towards the nursery, they were fired upon indiscriminately by the terrorists. So clearly, there has been a scheme devised as far as the latest attack is concerned. Tajinder Singh Sodhi, my colleague, is joining us live first up with more on this. Tajinder, break down the details you're learning.
See, Shivani, the sources privy to investigation have told CNN News 18 the entire sequence of events that led to the terror attack on these non-local migrant laborers. These laborers, they were inside their house when some people reached to them, asked them to accompany them to a nearby field. They promised that these laborers, that they wanted them to show the field to the laborers so that they can negotiate the payment, as they wanted these laborers to work on their field. When they were on their way, they were negotiating the the payment details, and when they reached a nearby nursery, at that place these terrorists, they took out a weapon and started firing indiscriminately on these migrant laborers, in which unfortunately 2 laborers from Bihar, they died on the spot and one was critically injured. Now the entire area has been cordoned off. The investigation has started. The eyewitnesses have told the police the entire sequence of event. Some of the eyewitnesses, they say that they were inside their house when other people came rushing towards them, telling them that their colleagues who were taken by the people to show their field, they have been shot dead. This is the entire sequence of event. These terrorists, they exploited the poverty of these laborers, because these laborers are in Kashmir to earn livelihood, to sustain their families back home. These are the people who work in Kashmir, earn some livelihood, and they have a huge family back where in their parents, their children, their wife, they are supporting them. We saw yesterday a migrant from UP who was killed. He has 4 daughters and a son. This is the level of poverty, and the poverty is sending these people to Kashmir. And today these terrorists, they crossed all limits, exploited their poverty, exploited their need.
But there is a clear ruse here. There is a clear scheme here, Tajinder.
Giving them,
they were lured for work, and then they were isolated and then targeted. A scheme was properly devised to get them out of their house.
Yes, Shivani, you see, this is an entire modus operandi adopted by the terrorists. They know how to exploit the poverty. Yesterday, we know that a Golgappa vendor, he was shot dead when he was trying to earn his livelihood outside Eidgah area. When he was heading towards his home, these terrorists came and they fired at him. Another individual from UP, he was shot dead. He was also in Kashmir. And today, these 2 laborers who were shot dead, they were taken out of their house on the pretext of providing them work in the field, and when they were moving towards the field, these terrorists, they shot them dead. So clearly, you see, the terrorists, they have devised a strategy wherein they have been targeting the local, non-local population in Kashmir. We saw in the recent past, even the local Kashmiris, they are being killed. We saw just a few days ago when ML Bindru, a Kashmiri Pandit who did not migrate from Kashmir during the peak of terrorism in Kashmir, he was shot dead. A Kashmiri Sikh, Supinder Kaur, who was the principal of the school, she was shot dead. A person from Jammu who was working in a school, Deepak
Yes.
Chand, he was shot dead. Yes, Shivani.
Absolutely. Tejinder, I thank you for joining us with those details. Clearly, something needs to be done to arrest these attacks, these selected targetings and killings that are taking place. Remember, several laborers from Bihar have now already succumbed to these attacks. We're getting some updates that Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has spoken to Jammu and Kashmir LG, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, over the killings of the 2 migrant workers belonging to the state. Remember, a lot of migrant workers are those who have come under attack. Out of the 11 killings that have taken place in the last 2 weeks itself, 6 are non-local migrant workers and several of them from Bihar. Chandra Mohan, my colleague, is joining us. Chandra Mohan ji, बताइए कि क्या बात हुई, क्या डिटेल्स मिल रही हैं बिहार चीफ मिनिस्टर ने जो बात करी है?
बिल्कुल, देखिए, अनंतनाग में जो बिहार के 2 मजदूरों की हत्या की गई है, उसको लेकर मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार ने लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर मनोज सिन्हा से बात की है और साफ तौर पर इसको लेकर चिंता जताई है। उन्होंने कहा है कि जो भी बिहार के मजदूर वहां पर मौजूद है, उनको सुरक्षा कैसी दी जाए, इसकी प्रबंध होनी चाहिए और साथ ही जिस तरह से मजदूरों को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, इसको लेकर भी आगे कदम उठाया जाए ताकि किसी मजदूर की जान न जाए। और साथ ही मुख्यमंत्री नीतीश कुमार ने जो बिहार के 2 मजदूर अभी अब से थोड़ी देर पहले जिनकी हत्या की गई है, उनके परिवार के लोगों को 2-2 लाख रुपए मुआवजे के तौर पर देने का ऐलान किया है। तो अभी ये जो घटना हुई है, जिस तरह से आतंकी पहुंचे हैं और बिहार के मजदूरों के ऊपर हमला किया गया है, कई ऐसे हैं जो घायल अवस्था में है, जिनको अस्पताल में पहुंचाया गया है, उनके परिवार को भी आइडेंटिफाई की जा रही है और उनको ये कोशिश की जा रही है कि बिहार के कहाँ के रहने वाले हैं उनको चिन्हित किया जाए और साथ ही परिवार को जो भी मदद हो सकता है वो राज्य सरकार देगी, पहुंचाएगी उन तक मदद।
जी, Chandra Mohan, thanks a lot for joining us and bringing us those details. Let me go across to our guests also joining us. Major General SP Asthana, Global Strategic and Defense Analyst, former DG Infantry is joining us. Praveen Swami, Group Consulting Editor, Network 18. Ifra Jan, spokesperson of the National Conference, and also Parijata Sarangi, MP and spokesperson of the BJP. Let me first go across to our security guest. Praveen Swami, what we're looking at is reminiscent of the selected targeting in 1990s. Just break down for our viewers the new paradigm that we're dealing with. Is this out of frustration because all other means have now been cracked upon and this is the very low cost, easy, soft targeting that terrorists can, gain headlines with? How do you read the situation?
Well, you're absolutely right. These are soft targets and they serve an obvious sort of political purpose, which is driving out outsiders and from the terrorist point of view, sharpening the divisions between Kashmir and the rest of India. But I don't think you need to go back to the 90s to understand this situation. Remember, even in the summer of 2019, you had a number of killings of migrant workers, of truck drivers, of laborers associated with the fruit trade. And you've had these killings going on a fairly regular basis. In fact, you've had far, far larger massacres of migrant workers, sometimes, in over a dozen at a time, in past years. So as long as there is terrorism in Kashmir, this threat to outsiders will be there. Just as there is a threat also to Kashmiri Muslims. I mean, remember, every month many civilians who are seen as, close to the Indian government or involved with mainstream political parties, whether they are the National Conference or the BJP, also come under attack. If you look at overall numbers this month, the levels of violence are not off the roof. That's not to underplay the seriousness of the threat,
right?
Just to keep some kind of perspective to this. And I think as terrorist groups find, that it is that they're having less and less impact, and that the political process in Kashmir is picking up, you will see these attacks on soft targets, whether it's police personnel's families, of course, migrant workers, religious minorities take place. From past experience, we know that they're usually carried out by one or two cells, which the Indian Army and the police services have been fairly competent at neutralizing. And I have no doubt that will happen this time as well.
Major General S.P. Asthana, how do you deal with this situation in the immediate aftermath? Ultimately, before we can neutralize the terrorists behind these killings, the safety of other non-local migrant workers is very important right now. What do you think should be done? Even if it's a knee-jerk reaction for now, what can be done? Could all of them be provided some sort of security? Could something be done to ensure that the areas where they are can be protected, or they can be brought into lesser number of areas so that their lives can be secured first up?
Firstly, I agree with the panelist who spoke before me. As far as the overall strategy is concerned, it's basically to deter the migrant laborers as well as outsiders. Now, as you said, for reaction as to what can be done, as far as immediate actions are concerned, certainly the practicability of an option of putting them in some labor camp with some security, that can be explored by the governor. That's one part of it. But more important is that the security grid is strong, but these sleeper cells are getting activated under the overall design of the Pakistanis and the proxy war to bleed India with 1,000 cuts. But these small strategies of killing innocents and stoke communal disharmony is something which is now is the current strategy. I would put it that there are a lot of actions which we need to do within us, within Kashmir. Number one, the government will certainly do its job, as well as the security forces and the intelligence. They are doing their job and they will continue to do so. We also need whole of people's approach, because today it is the migrant workers, tomorrow it can be somebody else. Terrorists make no distinction, and therefore the people need to stand for each other. So that is my message to the people of Kashmir. The second thing is that tomorrow you don't know, it could be you as well. So might as well put up a strong resistance in a manner that, like in the commentary you brought out, if these people were taken outside with the allurement of the job and to settle the...
Sir, I request you to just hold your thought for 1 second. Tarkishore Prasad, Deputy Chief Minister Bihar, is now joining us over the phone line. Tarkishore जी, हमें अभी खबर मिली थी कि चीफ मिनिस्टर नीतीश कुमार जी ने बात करी है जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एलजी से. आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे बिहार की तरफ से?
जी देखिए, इस तरह का पाकिस्तान समर्थित आतंकवादियों के द्वारा कायराना हमला जो लगातार किया जा रहा है, उसकी हम सब निंदा करते हैं. और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने भी, जो उपराज्यपाल हैं श्री मनोज कुमार सिन्हा जी, उनसे उन्होंने बात करी है और हर आवश्यक सुरक्षा के कदम उठाने के लिए चर्चा हुई है. मुझसे भी उपराज्यपाल श्री मनोज कुमार सिन्हा जी से बातचीत हुई है. हमने भी कहा है कि बिहार सहित जो अन्य राज्यों के गैर कश्मीरी लोग हैं, उनकी सुरक्षा की और बेहतर व्यवस्था करने के संबंध में आवश्यक कदम उठाए. उसे जो हमारे वहाँ सुरक्षा बल है, जम्मू कश्मीर सरकार का जो बल है, वो आवश्यक कदम लगातार उठा रही है, सर्च भी किए जा रहे हैं. लेकिन अब अभी फिर जानकारी मिली है कि जम्मू कश्मीर सरकार ने एक एडवाइजरी भी जारी की है, जिसमें बिहार सहित जो अन्य राज्यों के भी गैर कश्मीरी लोग हैं जो वहाँ रह रहे हैं, उन्हें तत्काल एक कैंप के द्वारा भी उनकी सुरक्षा व्यवस्था और मजबूत की जाएगी, जिससे कि कोई जान माल का नुकसान नहीं हो. लेकिन इस तरह के कायराना हमले से देश न डिगने वाला है, न पीछे हटने वाला है. कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक सारा देश इस तरह के हमले के खिलाफ है. जम्मू कश्मीर के भी जो वहाँ लोग हैं, उन्हें वो भी खिलाफ हैं. उन्हें भी सशक्त रूप से इस तरह के घटनाओं पर पूरे तौर पर खड़ा होना होगा, जिससे कि आतंकवादियों का मनोबल टूटे और आतंकवाद का कश्मीर से सफाया हो.
सर, मैं क्लैरिफिकेशन आपसे जानना चाह रही हूँ. एक खबर तो जरूर फैली है कि उन जो भी नॉन लोकल माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स हैं कश्मीर उनमें उनको आर्मी या सीएपीएफ टाइप कैंप्स में आने के लिए कहा गया है। इसकी हमें अभी पुष्टि नहीं हुई है, लेकिन मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ।
एडवाइजरी मैंने पढ़ा है।
जी मैं मानती हूँ एक डॉक्यूमेंट सर्कुलेशन में है सर, बट अभी उस पे थोड़ा सा एक क्वेश्चन मार्क है। लेकिन फिर भी मैं आपसे जानना चाहती हूँ कि क्या आपकी बातचीत में कोई ऐसी एश्योरेंस आपको दी है एलजी ने कि ऐसा कोई कदम वो उठा रहे हैं?
तो देखिए, हमारे लोग जम्मू कश्मीर में काम कर रहे हैं, मेहनत कर रहे हैं। जम्मू कश्मीर सरकार हर आवश्यक कदम उठा रही है। दुखद है, लेकिन जम्मू कश्मीर की सरकार हर आवश्यक कदम उठा रही है और एडवाइजरी ने इस बात की पुष्टि भी की है। और पूर्व से भी हम लगातार वाच कर रहे हैं कि सुरक्षा भी प्रदान की गई है। एलजी से हमारी बात की, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी की बात हुई है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने इस संबंध में विस्तार से श्री मनोज कुमार सिन्हा जी से भी बात की है
जी।
और हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि कश्मीर में जो ये एक सिलसिला पाक समर्थित आतंकवादियों के द्वारा जो कायराना हमले किए गए हैं, ये सिलसिला निश्चित तौर पर बंद होगा। जम्मू कश्मीर के लोग भी नहीं चाहते होंगे कि इस तरह की घटनाएं हो।
और बिहारी लेबरर्स और वर्कर्स जो हैं जम्मू एंड कश्मीर में, उनके मन में थोड़ा बहुत भय तो है। आप उनके लिए क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे जो है अभी कश्मीर में? आप ये उनसे उम्मीद रखेंगे कि वो अपना काम करते रहे, वहीं बने रहे? तारकिशोर जी? Looks like we've lost the line. But important will be also to send a message as a community, as a country, against such attacks. Because at the end of the day, you cannot allow the designs of terrorists to succeed. Yes, Major General Asthana, please finish your point.
Yeah. So we have to be proactive in taking a large number of actions, which includes whatever we discussed regarding the camps, that practicality can be seen. But in the long run, giving security to each and every man may be difficult. That's why I said whole of people's approach is important. Secondly,
but when you have these kinds of hybrid attacks, you don't know where these people come from. Clearly, there is local on-ground support. These are not infiltrators who are carrying out these attacks. They are identifying non-locals, migrant workers. They're even calling them out of their rooms and, homes and targeting them. How do you deal with this? Unless there can be a strong crackdown on all of these elements,
yes.
overground workers.
Yes, certainly there has to be a very strong crackdown and the conviction rate has to be high. We have been catching a lot of people. Now today you hear a news that Gilani's son has been caught and after that there is one page. But at the end of the day, the action taken is that just he has been sacked out of the job. Why not an FIR? Why shouldn't he be inside if all whatever has been covered against him is true? Similarly, we need to have stronger laws. UAPA, the present law is a weaker law. We need a stronger ones. We also need to have perhaps a little more, shall we say, technological upgrade in finding out the designs of the sleeper cells. So, all in all, I would say that this is a design which is being propagated of the sleeper cell when we say hybrid terrorists, because they have somehow they've got emboldened. And earlier also on your channel I had said that whatever has happened in Afghanistan, the terrorists can be looked after because the security grid is very strong, but the ideology can travel. And that ideology of saying that, okay, out of 370 who are getting benefited, these are the long-term laborers who are getting benefited. So try and deter them. Now, this is one design that you deter them. The second design is the stoking communal disharmony.
Absolutely.
So that the Pandits don't get in, don't come back again.
No, let me just bring in Ifra Jan here also, a representative of the National Conference. Ifra, we were discussing earlier, this whole harping on talk to Pakistan, masla-e-Kashmir, Pakistan se baat karke solve hoga. Kya masla-e-Kashmir hai aur kya Pakistan se baat karke solve hoga? Kisi ko samajh mein nahi aata. But let me also remind you of the fact of the kind of threats mainstream Kashmiri politicians were issuing when the abrogation of Article 370 took place. that there will be rivers of blood, that we will not allow demographic change. All of that rhetoric and propaganda is what has created an environment for these killings, Ifra.
Hi, Shivani. You see, there was a senior BJP politician who is based in Kashmir. I would not want to name her. She said that if Article 370 was ever abrogated, she would be the first woman to pick up an AK-47 and fight the Indian state. Interestingly, she has been put on. So if mainstream political parties like National Conference are always asked to explain, maybe you also need to ask BJP to explain the kind of statements their senior politicians gave.
But why do you always shoot off their shoulders? You respond for yourself, no? Respond for your side.
I am saying,
BJP will respond for them.
Respond for myself. Let me respond for myself. You see, Shivani, only somebody who does not understand the Kashmiri situation would probably assume that mainstream political parties somehow support or abet terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. If you look at the facts, 8,000 is not a joke. 8,000 workers, which includes ministers, sitting MLAs, senior members, junior members of the National Conference, have been shot dead in similar ways. We were also picked up, and it's just not happening for this year, but it's been a routine, and it's also been a routine for PDP.
I know that, which is why I'm only saying that this whole harping of Pakistan se baat kar lo, masla hai Kashmir solve kar lo, dosti kar lo, ye sab nahi chalta hai. Ifra, 70 saal se dekh liya hai. But I bring you back to the question of the hatred that was spread against so-called outsiders or non-locals. Who's responsible for that?
You see, in Ladakh, we do have a certain kind of laws, right? And if you know, BJP government is in power in Ladakh, and BJP government got into laws in Ladakh where nobody can buy the land. And Jammu and Kashmir, obviously not just Kashmiris, but including people in Jammu, have been asking for similar rights over land.
So otherwise you'll kill people. Otherwise killing is okay.
Kashmiris,
please don't rationalize brutal killings, no. You have a problem with a law. You have a problem with some sort of governance. Is this no? You are rationalizing. There, you go to any part of the country. You go to any citizen. They will have some problems with something the government is doing or something that the law says. That doesn't mean they start killing innocents.
Absolutely. Who is supporting that? I don't know who is supporting that. It's brutal. It's cold-blooded murder. It's being barbaric. I wouldn't even say barbaric does not even fit in. I don't know what words to have for use for them. To be honest, I don't have the vocabulary to describe this gruesome act. But all I'm saying is that don't blame the common people. They are the ones who've been facing.
I never mentioned the common people. I am talking about politicians who are not common at all. Let me bring in Aparajita Sarangi. There is obviously questions that are being raised on the government. At the end of the day, the BJP-led central government is in charge of Jammu and Kashmir. What is your plan, ma'am?
A very good evening. Whatever has been happening in Kashmir is extremely unfortunate, and we would all wish it was not so. But let me tell you very emphatically and with a lot of conviction at my command that the administration there under the leadership of the LG, with all support from the central government, is putting its best efforts to ensure that those who are from outside, those migrant laborers, are actually put in a camp. They are taken care of, number one. And number two, those who are creating this terror are actually taken to task and they are attacked properly and they are dealt with properly. I hope you understand and I understand what we mean by that. Now, as far as the administration's efforts is concerned, let me tell you that in the last 2 weeks, in fact, there has been an attack on all these Pakistan-supported Islamic terrorists, and 13 of them have been gunned down. The issue of murder of civilians has been entrusted to the NIA. We are extremely firm about our actions and we know what we have to do.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you very clearly, very candidly, that whatever is happening is a deliberate attempt on part of Pakistan to create to destabilize the region, I would say.
Ma'am, we know that. The question is, what is the answer to that?
Opposite reaction.
Our statements alone the answer to that. We know Pakistan is to blame.
I think this lady has to stop. When I talk, she has
No,
to
no,
stop.
I am
When she
talking.
talks-
I am saying we know that Pakistan is to blame. Ma'am, we know that. You don't need to tell us that.
Let me tell you, I'm coming to that. Post 5th August 2019, let me tell you, we have been taking all efforts to ensure that there is peace and tranquility in the region. And we have been requesting all our Kashmiri Pandits, our brothers and sisters, to come back and stay. And we have been trying to create to transform that into a region of peace. However, this entire thing would take time. And the very fact that these incidents are happening, which are very unfortunate, is indicating that the peace and tranquility of the region is getting restored, and Pakistan would never let that happen.
Okay, I have to give 20 seconds to Praveen. Praveen, unfortunately, discussions on Kashmir go in a loop. It's a vicious cycle. But I want to give you 20 seconds. In this scenario, what would send an appropriate message to those who need that message?
I think the most appropriate message is to ensure our intelligence and police services find the perpetrators as quickly as possible and either neutralize or arrest them as circumstances dictate. This has been done before. I am sure it will happen again.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be workable in every nook and corner of rural Kashmir, practically to provide security to every individual. But this tells us we're going to be with the problem for the long haul. And instead of reacting in a panic, we should be preparing ourselves for the long haul ahead.
All right, I have to leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Stay with CNN News 18. We'll continue to get you the latest on the situation in Jammu and Kashmir and the rest of the country. Goodbye. Another attack on non-locals is being reported from Jammu and Kashmir. In this one, we're getting to know in preliminary reports that 2 people have been killed, while another has suffered critical injuries and is being tended to. This is after terrorists have fired on them. So the more targeted killing, especially of non-local laborers, continues in the valley.